I want to start with a little thought experiment for you. Imagine this. You're dropped in the middle of New York City, and you're separated from a friend.
Okay.
You have no phone, no way to text, nothing. You couldn't agree on a plan beforehand. Now, to save your life, you have to pick one spot and one time to meet them. Where do you go?
Wow. That sounds like an absolute nightmare scenario. I mean, the city's massive.
Right.
Logic would suggest the odds of you finding each other are basically zero.
Exactly. My logical brain just says it's hopeless. But if I really had to choose, I think my gut says I'd go to the clock at Grand Central Terminal, probably at noon.
And you probably find your friend there.
Yeah.
Yeah. The economist Thomas Schelling, he ran this exact experiment, and the vast, vast majority of people gave that same answer, the information booth at Grand Central at noon.
That is just wild. How does that work? Are we all psychic?
In a way, yes. It's a phenomenon called a Schelling point. It comes from game theory, and it explains how we humans can coordinate without saying a single word.
So that's our deep dive today. How this shared imagination lets us solve problems even when we can't talk.
We're pulling from Thomas Schelling's 1960 book, The Strategy of Conflict.
Okay, so help me understand the why here. Why Grand Central? Is it like mathematically the best location?
Not at all. A specific park bench or, the public library is just as valid physically. But Grand Central has what Schelling called salience. It just stands out.
Salience. Okay, that's a key term here.
It just means prominence. When we can't communicate, we actually stop trying to optimize for the best payoff. Instead, we try to predict what the other person is going to focus on.
It's like a game of mirrors.
It is. You aren't asking, where do I want to go? You're asking, where does he think I think you will go?
That sounds exhausting. But it works.
It works surprisingly well. Let's try a simpler one from the research. Imagine I pair you with a total stranger. You both have to secretly write down a claim for a share of $100. If the total of your two claims is 100 or less, you both get what you wrote down. If it's over 100, neither of you gets a dime. What number do you write?
Oh, man. I mean, I want as much as possible, but if I get greedy, we both crash. I'd write 50.
And so does almost everyone else. Now, why 50? Technically, you writing 49 and me writing 51 works just fine, mathematically. But 50-50 is the focal point.
It's symmetrical. It feels fair.
It's the only number that really stands out in that whole landscape of options.
Okay, but that's a cooperative game. We both want the same thing. What about when we're trying to avoid a crash? The notes mention the collision game.
Right, so this is anti-coordination. Picture two cyclists heading straight for each other on a narrow path.
Oh,
If neither moves, they crash. If both move the same way, they also crash. They have to do opposite things to survive.
and they can't just stop and have a committee meeting about who goes left and who goes right.
Precisely. In countries with right-hand traffic, the focal point is to swerve to the right. We solve a life or death physics problem purely through cultural convention.
You know, this feels really different from the game theory I learned in college. Isn't the goal usually to, mathematically crush your opponent?
That's the Nash equilibrium. It's pure logic, optimizing your personal payoff, assuming everyone else is a supercomputer doing the same math.
But Schelling's point is different.
Yeah, he argued that humans aren't supercomputers. We are psychological beings. A Nash equilibrium is about math. A Schelling point is about reading the room.
You know, speaking of systems that need to read the room and coordinate without constant hand-holding, that kind of brings us to our sponsor, Embersilk.
It does. Embersilk specializes in AI training and automation. And when you're deploying AI agents in your business, you need them to uncover where they can make the most impact.
Sort of like finding that focal point in a complex system.
Exactly.
So if you need help with software development or integration, check them out at embersilk.com for your AI needs.
So I want to take this concept out of the classroom and into the real world. The sources point out that Schelling points have actually shaped history, specifically international relations during the Cold War.
That seems like a massive leap. We just went from meeting for coffee to nuclear standoffs.
But the logic is the same. The U.S. and the Soviets, they couldn't just call each other up to clarify every single troop movement. It was a very high-stakes coordination game with very low communication.
So how did they avoid disaster?
They used tacit spheres of influence. These were essentially geopolitical Schelling points. They avoided the other's core territory, not always because of a signed treaty, but because it was a mutually understood boundary.
So crossing it was like the two bikes swerving the same way.
It's the move that causes the crash. Exactly. It proves that even adversaries can coordinate for mutual survival.
And we see this in markets too, right?
Mhm.
With tech standards.
All the time. Why do companies settle on standard file formats or operating systems? It's often not because one is technically superior, it's just the focal choice everyone else is using. It prevents fragmentation.
Looking at all this, it's actually weirdly optimistic.
How do you mean?
Well, we usually just hear about how divided humanity is, but this suggests we have this, I don't know, this built-in software for team reasoning.
I think that's the big takeaway here. We are wired to find common ground. Schelling points prove that human beings have this fundamental shared capacity for cooperation.
We can sync up our intentions even without words.
We can.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a challenge for you listening. The next time you spot your friend in a crowded concert without having texted a specific spot, ask yourself, did I just use a Schelling point?
You probably did.
That does it for this deep dive. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe to the show. Hey, leave us a 5-star review if you can. It really does help get the word out. Thanks for tuning in.